in the Volta region threatened to adopt light fishing in protest against the alleged use of unapproved fishing nets at Adina Landing Beach. International front, U.S. Health Secretary Tom Price has resigned over the use of expensive private planes for official business. We have details of these stories plus more coming up over the next hour. We start with one of our headline stories. And the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana, COPIC, has petitioned the president to review some of the tax components in the petroleum price build-up to bring relief to some citizens. According to the petition signed by the Executive Secretary of COPIC, Duncan Amwa, the rising fuel prices in the country have direct impact on the general cost and living as well as inflation. So now we will have been joined via phone by the Executive Director of COPIC, and that's Executive Secretary Duncan Amwa. Good afternoon, Duncan, and thanks for your time.
Good afternoon, Wendy, dear, and thanks for your afternoon.
Now, what exactly are your demands from government? Complete removal of these taxes or a downward review?
Wendy, we've spelled out some recommendations that we believe, if clearly 1, 2, 3, or even all adhered to, should see consumers in Ghana get some minimum stable fuel prices at the pump, especially coming at the back of the fact international market prices are so soaring. If you check over the past 1-2 weeks, diesel has gone up, diesel has come down. And so if care is not taken, we will continue to have the sort of overruns we are seeing at the pump. And that is why we have made about 6 recommendations to the president to have a look at and see how best we can all be able to get fuel prices at least stabilized for the Ghanaian public to be able to plan their lives accordingly.
Now, some of these demands you've made, from the accountability of the use of the road fund, proper explanation for the utilization of price stabilization and the recovery levy. Some people might ask, are these concerns you've raised really realistic demands?
Indeed, Wendy. We couldn't have been more blunt, more realistic with the government than we've been with this current petition before the president that went yesterday. What we can state unequivocally is that if you decided to do anything about the recommendations, particularly the Special Petroleum Tax, SPT, which continues to stretch and overrun each time international market prices go up or each time the dollar relationship affects pump prices negatively, you will find some of the taxes also running. We have stated that in July, SPT was around 43 pesos. Today, it's gone about 50 pesos. And so it cannot be entirely true that it is only the hurricane or international market prices dragging fuel prices to where they are. Clearly, some of the taxes are equally also inimical to stabilization, and that is where we want the government, especially the president, to have a careful relook at. And mind you, Wendy, some of the taxes as far back as 2015, when we introduced the ESLA, the Energy Sector Levies Act, they were supposed to be windfall taxes. If you remember, at the time, fuel prices on the international market around needed to balance its revenue, i.e., what we get from our Jubilee fields and the central production, the exports we also do. Fortunately for us as a country today, we may not have that challenge of imbalances in revenue because world markets are quite stable now, around $55, which is almost high. But the taxes that we introduced to bring about the revenue balance, we have left them there as though they were meant for permanent reasons.
Now, Duncan, what has been,
and we want a relook at them immediately.
What has been the feedback from government? What has been the feedback from government so far?
Wendy, I'm quite certain that some meetings that we've been privy to, The government itself is also looking at some ways to come down on some of the taxes, ease down. But again, I'm sure the president being father for everyone, looking at the challenges that we are all facing today, where, like I mentioned, within the next week or two, if care is not taken, diesel prices could go up again. Although petrol has come down slightly, diesel could also go up. What it means is that the price escalation that we are seeing, there is no end in sight if you look at the 3 months ahead of us. And so we need something done, however temporary, just to be able to cushion, to stabilize fuel prices for Ghanaians to plan their lives. That's all we are asking from the government, and we do not think that that is way too much. The recommendations are clear and specific. We believe that if the recommendations are adhered to, price could at least stabilize for the next 3 months for Ghanaians to be able to plan their life. This trend is quite worrying, and we need to do something about it.
Thank you very much indeed, Duncan Amwa. He is Executive Secretary for COPIC. To another headline story, and 7 suspected armed land guards have been arrested by the Accra Regional Police Command at COPIC near Weja here in Accra. The Wednesday arrest follows a renewed war against land guard activities in the Greater Accra region.
The suspected land guards are 41-year-old Tete Atram, also known as Tewia, Omega Ago, also 41 years, Joel Ofori, 30 years, Derek Ayi, 20, Godwin Amegashi, 47 years, Joseph Okaija, 30, and Boy Ayi, 21 years. The arrest follows renewed efforts by the Accra Regional Police Command to clamp down on land guard activities within the region. The declaration of war, according to the police, has prompted an increase in intelligence across the region, especially the developing communities. On Wednesday, September 27, at about 2 p.m., police intelligence picked up signal about a clash between 2 suspected land guard groups at Koklobite. The police said a standby team quickly moved to the area and swooped on the violent group, leading to the arrest of the 7. The other members, however, managed to escape. 16 motorbikes and a Ford pickup vehicle registered GR 6949Z were impounded. Preliminary police investigations have revealed that the 2 land guard groups went to the area to demand 1,500 cedis from a developer for digging a parcel of land he had legally acquired, leading to the clash.
Police want to sound a word of caution to those who have been engaging the services of these young men as land guards, that the police will stop at nothing to ensure that we bring the menace of land guards to the barest minimum, if not eliminate it. The war against land guards continues unabated.
The suspect, 4 of whom sustained injuries during the arrest, will be arraigned before court on Friday, September 29.
So we're still focusing on this story. Let's go on the phone line and speak to the Accra Regional Police Piro ASP Atenge. Good afternoon and thanks for your time.
Good afternoon, Wendy.
Now, your outfit has come up strong against land guard activities, and we've just seen an arrest on Wednesday at Kokrobite. But how has the process been so far?
Yes, thank you very much, and good afternoon to your viewers. The declaration of war on land guards is something that the region is pursuing. And it has not been so easy, because when sometimes police get the information, they go to the said place, we go and we realize that the people who were causing the havoc, who were causing the violence have fled. So it has not been so easy, but with the kind of strategies the region is adopting and also outlining, we hope strongly that we are able to face these land guards squarely.
Now, there are individuals who live in communities and even live in the areas where they man. How do you get support from residents who live in such communities? Are they willing to even help in the first place to ensure that you have a success with this project you're on?
Yes. In fact, the issue of land guard has become a problem to everyone. And we realized that of late, people are trying to develop their own lands. People are trying to put up structures within which they can live in. And the manner in which this menace is appalling. And you can see the cooperation for members of the public, but we are saying it is still not enough. We have seen in the past where people have resorted to the courts, you know, well-meaning Ghanaians, people who do not want to engage these landguards because they are armed, because they have all sorts of weapons and what have you. But we have realized that still the cooperation is still not enough. That is why we are coming out strongly. We are also trying to solicit for the support of everyone, every individual. If they know where they are, if they believe they have certain information that can also help us to be able to get rid of these landguards, they are welcome. But you can see that, yes, people are really worried, and people are ready to do everything to support the police against this fight.
All right, well, thank you so much for your time having speaking to Accra Regional Police Piro ASP Ifya Tenge. You're still watching Midday Live. To some more stories this afternoon. And USAID West Africa and partners have developed a 50-year dynamic atlas map to help land use and land cover concerns in West Africa. According to the director for the center, the remote sensing and geographic information at Legon, Foster Mensah, the map is a great tool to help Ghana identify the worst affected areas of Galamsey activities.
According to USAID West Africa, the landscapes of West Africa are drastically changing as a result of human activities and climate change. This has in the past 30 years resulted in land degradation and deforestation, among other negative economic challenges. The new Atlas maps are to help decision makers form an action plan to address the region's environmental challenges. At a two-day workshop to bring to bear the dynamics of the atlases to stakeholders, the director of the Center for Remote Sensing and Geographic Information at Legon, Foster Mensah, says the map is a great tool to help Ghana identify the worst affected areas of Galamsey activities.
The map was derived from satellite imagery, and so then we can identify these hotspots that are under the menace of Galamsey, and maybe going forward we can use this as base maps for planning interventions.
USAID West Africa Regional Mission Director Alex DePress says it is necessary for the maps to be used in key decision making to help reclaim land lost.
But what the atlas does is really show you the level of degradation of the land over the years caused by Galamsey illegal mining, but also by other factors. So this really gives you the information on which you and the community and your leadership can take appropriate action.
The head of Training and Research Department, Professor Sanusi Atta, explained how the atlas is applicable to the ordinary Ghanaian and decision makers in the country.
Try to have high production in a small land, not to increase the production by increasing the land, but mainly by using fertilizer, by using seeds of quality, so that we can produce in a small land, not to increase land for increasing production.
The data in the atlas is expected to describe likely trends for the next 50 years.
We now head to the Volta region, where the chiefs and elders of Alavanyu Nkonya traditional areas have pleaded with the Volta Regional Peace Council to end the long-standing conflict. The two communities indicate they're tired of killing each other and want the conflict stopped. They made the call at a joint peace initiative in the regional capital, Ho.
The whole meeting was the fifth in the series by the Volta Regional Peace Council within a span of 2 weeks. It brought together for the first time all victims and next of kin of deceased persons from the two traditional areas under one roof to share their experiences. The latest victim from Nkonya Asachiri, Mercy Broni, broke down in tears, casting back her mind to that fateful Monday on her farm. Other victims and relatives of some of the deceased also took turns to recount their experiences and plead for an end to crime in the area. When he took the floor, the regent of Nkonya Tai, Christian Yao Elete, who deputized for the paramount chief of Nkonya, Nana Okoto Kofi II, called for a declaration to be made to ensure no life is lost again in the area.
Anything that has a beginning must also have an end. I wish to appeal to Regional Minister to at least declare today as the day of ceasing hostilities, so that nobody shoots a gun again. If that is marked, we shall all listen. Then action can be taken.
He pleaded with the Peace Council not to abandon the communities.
See, when you are running among ants, you don't stop among the ants to remove those that are stuck to your body. You have to be far away before you can remove them. So keep us out of the shooting when everything is quiet, and then people are no more afraid, people are no more running away or hiding, then the peace will grow naturally.
These calls were endorsed by the paramount queen of Alavanyo, Mamaga Ameto II.
I thank them very much for their effort, and then I hope this will not be the end of this such a program, and we pray that peace will prevail, because enough is enough.
Earlier, the Volta Regional Minister Ashbord Lecha regretted killings in the two traditional areas.
Many of you have become innocent victims due to the phenomenon of score settling and the fact that you reside in the two traditional areas. I therefore urge you all to embrace the trauma healing and reconciliation program of the Regional Peace Council, so that the young ones and future generations of Alavanyo and Nkonya will know no violence.
The calls by the two communities suggest there could be an end in sight in the conflict.
Peace, peace, peace is our watchword.
In that conflict, some fishermen in the Volta region have threatened to adopt light fishing in protest to the alleged use of unapproved fishing nets at Adina Landing Beach. Now, the Volta Regional Vice Chairperson of the Ghana National Canoe Fishermen Council said Kede asked the first ever conference on fisheries and coastal management in Accra raised his concerns.
We wish to put on record that, in spite of your good effort to reduce illegal fishing and protect our coastal and inland waters, the mess is still going on in our fishing industry. For example, if you come to Volta region, one particular fishing village by name Adina is still using this illegal net.
Brandishing a piece of banned net, the vice chairman of the Volta Regional Canoe Fishermen Council alleged some law-abiding fishermen in the area are now threatening to adopt light fishing in protest.
Some of police fishermen, they are also planning to go to light fishing. And we are appealing to the government. Those of our friends who flouted the law should be properly book to book, either belong to the ruling party or the opposition party. The law must take its course.
Senior Minister Yao Safumafu bemoaned the continuous lawlessness in the fishing industry and called for drastic measures.
And therefore, those of you who are doing it right should help us. It's not a question of being your brother or being your sister. It's a question of sustaining the industry. We can't allow this net to be used under any circumstance, and we should have the system to stamp it out. Let people be punished legally for using these nets.
The Conference on Fisheries and Coastal Environment was jointly organized by the Universities of Cape Coast and Rhode Island in collaboration with Feed the Future Sustainable Fisheries Management Project and the USAID. It aimed at seeking effective ways of dealing with the challenges in the fisheries sector.
You know current fishing practices are not sustainable. You understand that a collapse in fishing stocks could slash incomes for fishermen and the jobs of those in the markets that sell the catch. You comprehend what needs to happen now to help communities to respond to these challenges. We want to ensure that fish we consume is healthy, free from contamination, and good for consumption.
The three-day conference in Accra was on the theme, the changing marine fisheries and coast, challenges and opportunities for changing minds.
Now to the Ashanti region, where a collapsed bridge has cut off several farming communities in the Fija-Kwabre district of that very region. Urgent reconstruction of the bridge at Bonkro will protect lives and livelihood in the area. Here's a report by Ibrahim Abubakar and Gwendolyn Ifriba Akwa.
The bridge links over 6,000 residents of Afrancho Bonkrong, Ojisango, Mase, Besiase and Etimetim, among other farming communities in the Fija-Kwabre district. The bridge started deteriorating 3 years ago. It has become almost impossible for commercial and other heavy-duty vehicles to use it. After years of neglect, the bridge has totally collapsed. Residents also risk their lives crossing the river on foot to get to other communities. School children are the most affected, especially after a downpour, when the bridge becomes impassable for at least 3 days. Children become anxious whenever they have to use the bridge.
State that the bridge is not helping. At times when it's flat, all what we have to do is just take off our shoes and sandals before we cross the bridge. So we are pleading the government to come and construct us in the bridge.
A resident, Augustino Wusu, is worried about the economic impact of the collapse.
Traders and customers alike have been adversely affected by the collapse of the bridge. The situation gets worse when it rains, as the whole area gets flooded.
The collapse of the bridge also has serious implications on healthcare delivery. Assemblyman for Afrancho Bonkrung, Philip Sarkodie, is calling for immediate construction of the bridge. The district chief executive of Efija-Kwabre, Kwesi Kakare Achamfo, says frantic efforts are being made to reconstruct the bridge.
I'm going to see the regional minister so that I put the whole thing before him, and I'm sure from there something better will come out of it.
Until works start on the bridge, residents, including school children, would have to continue using this collapsed bridge at their own risk.
In other news, an Accra High Court has dismissed the application praying it for a stay of execution of an earlier judgment ordering the Immigration Service to restore the work and residence visa of an Indian businessman, Ashok Kumar Savarim. Now, the presiding judge, Justice Na Adole Azu, explained that her decision was to prevent Mr. Ashok from being at the mercy of the Immigration Service while dealing with his court issues in Ghana.
The court also dismissed the Attorney General's argument that the non-granting of the stay application will amount to interference of the work of the Immigration Service, as statutory bodies are not above the law. Justice Naazu also questioned the argument by the Attorney General to the effect that security of the nation would be at stake if the stay of execution was not granted. The Attorney General, represented by Jasmine Ama, told the court that if the stay is not granted, it will serve as precedent for others to use the court to get legally revoked permit overturned, adding that the restoration order will also be a direct interference with the work of the Immigration Service. On his part, lawyer for the businessman, Gary Nimaku, objected to the application, arguing that the Attorney General has not demonstrated in any way the irreparable damage it would have to deal with if the stay was not granted as per law. The High Court last week ordered the Immigration Service to restore the work and residence permit of Ashok Sivaram within 7 days after months of failing to do so, despite a decision cautioning Ashok's deportation.
Now, incumbent president of the Ghana Journalists Association, Roland Afil-Moni, has retained the presidency of the Ghana Journalists Association with a landslide victory in the September 29 polls. Afil-Moni garnered 310 votes, Edmund Lloyd Evans polled 147 votes, and Johnny Aite had 44 votes.
Over 500 members of the GJA cast their ballot at various polling centers across the country, lower than the 658 votes that had been expected. The election was supposed to be held in March 2017, but was postponed because of some unresolved dispute. The International Press Center served as one of the polling stations as well as the collation center. Electoral Commissioner in charge of the elections announced the results after collation.
We have 3 candidates. Edwin Lloyd Evans, who had 43 valid votes. Johnny Ayete had 9 valid votes. And then Afil-Moni had 96 valid votes. we calculate the valid votes are 148 plus 1 rejected, giving us 149. So for this police station, for the position of president, Aflemoni had the highest vote of 96 votes.
Roland Aflemoni, in his speech after the victory, called on all to put their differences away and forge ahead to strengthen the GJA.
No one person can build a formidable GJA. So this underlines the need for every media practitioner, irrespective of your differences, irrespective of your preferences for candidate A or candidate B, to come together to help build an association which will ignite pride, not only in the members, but in the generality of the public.
Congratulations to him. You're still watching Midday Live. We'll be back shortly. Time for business. Thanks for staying. The digital address system will be rolled out across the country by the end of this year. Communications Minister Asiedu-Dartey gave the hint when management of Media General Group called on her in Accra.
The move, according to the minister, is in line with government's drive in building a smart society in a bid to improve efficiency. The new system would mean the use of PO box for identifying property would cease by the end of this year, as the entire process would be digitized. Communications Minister Asiedu-Dartey expressed confidence the new digital processing system would drastically improve the address system in Ghana. She, however, acknowledged its cybersecurity concerns.
We'll link all our databases, and so we can query addresses. DVLA can query addresses without leaving at shorter intervals, because they're linked to the NIA database and the National Digital Property Register, Digital Address Register, and so.
Chief Executive Officer of Media General Group, Pearl Mensah, said the group is ready to collaborate with the ministry in educating Ghanaians on the new initiatives.
We have a strong production company that we believe can produce rich local content. We've already set ourselves the task of reducing the foreign content on our screens, and you'll see that come into play as early as November this year.
With regards to the list of 131 sanctioned radio stations released by the National Communications Authority for violating certain aspects of the Electronics Communications Act 2009, Act 775, the minister noted legal sanctions would be meted out to them.
They are a human institution. They would look into those concerns. But if at the end of the day their investigations are proven, then unfortunately the sanctions as announced will stand. And
the minister praised TV3 Network for its commitment to churning out quality local content over the years, such as Ifira, Insight and others, and called for this to be sustained. Pearl Mensah expressed gratitude, saying the group aims at increasing the local content on the various platforms. She further noted as TV3 marks its 20-year anniversary, a series of local productions would be rolled out to the public.
One of the things that we're also doing as part of our 20th anniversary celebrations is to have a nostalgic belt. So you are going to see some of the programs that you have mentioned, even if it's just for a day or two, you know, just to bring back old memories and also to remind Ghanaians that, you know, we have something good.
Away from that story, Talos Oil has suspended its planned shutdown of the FPSO Kwame Nkrumah to early next year. The company was expected to shut down the Jubilee field operations for stabilization, rotation and offloading system installation before the end of the year.
In its trading statement and operational update for the first half of 2017, the oil company said it is confident measures put in place to solve the technical issues should be within the stipulated period. Until September 23, Talos Oil had announced a planned shutdown of the FPSO Kwame Nkrumah later this year. Talos was expected to shut down its Jubilee Fields operations for the stabilization, rotation and offloading system installation. At a media engagement, Managing Director of Talos Ghana Limited, Charles Dako, indicated the planned shutdown has been suspended.
The shutdown, as we said the last time, we're trying to optimize the schedule. We have reduced it from 12 to about 5 weeks, and we're looking at reducing it even further. So at this time, we haven't issued a statement on the final duration. That's being worked now, and as soon as we're done, we'll put it out. But we've reduced the duration quite significantly. Most likely, it will be next year.
Talos' first half 2017 West Africa oil production has performed in line with guidance and is expected to average 81,400 barrels per day, including production equivalent payment received and the Talos business interruption insurance policy for the Jubilee field.
Well, that's all for business this afternoon. To one of our headline stories, and a former health minister, Dr. Richard Anani, has expressed dissatisfaction with the current state of the NHIS, calling for an increase of the levy with an additional 1% added from the Road Infrastructure Fund. He was speaking on 3FM's morning show, Sunrise. The former Minister of Health, Dr. Richard Anani, who oversaw the implementation of the National Health Insurance Scheme in 2005, reiterated the call for the scheme to be sustained.
My policy was that health insurance should not be allowed to die. 2009, when the president decided that they were going to do what they call the infrastructure fund, I kept on asking that instead of putting 2.5% for infrastructure, they should take only 1.5% and then add the 1 other percent to the National Health Insurance. But that's not to say that infrastructure was of no use. It is.
He touched on the challenges of the NHIS.
I can see with what is happening with health insurance to be more a matter of finance than any other thing.
The former Roads and Transport Minister also explained that proper supervision is needed to prevent contractors from doing shoddy works.
We make sure that if you do not do the correct things by ensuring proper supervision, you are the one to be sacked, not the contractor. Even though when we had done that, I called the contractor and said, Mr. Contractor, you did not do this work properly. Go back and do it. Or we make sure we take the money from you. And they all went back to do what they had to do. You, the minister, may not be an engineer, but you should be able to get some people who will ensure that the right things are done.
Asked of any current role in government, he indicated he doesn't need to occupy any government position to contribute to national development.
I think I have a very big role in my party. I happen to have been one of the very young ones in this party who were part of the formation of the party, even at that time. So anything that must be done to make sure my party gets better, I will make sure I do. I don't have to occupy any particular role to be able to do it.
We have sports, international news and entertainment shortly.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to Midday Live here on TV3. My name is Anako Jafre. Time to run you through the latest sports updates. Let's get into the details. Now, in Accra to Folk, central defender Vincent Atinga says he's excited about his invitation to the Black Stars to help prepare for the 2018 World Cup qualifying game against Uganda. The Heart of Folk centre-back has been instrumental for the Phobians and recently demonstrated his qualities in Ghana's triumph display in the 2017 WAFU Championship.
I feel good and I feel so delighted because as a player you need to save your motherland. So when they called me, I said, well, it's a great opportunity for me and it's a privilege for me to play the national team. What I would say is time and destiny will tell. I was in the club playing for the club before I went for the national assignment, so there's no pressure on me.
And on Sunday, the eyes of Ghanaians will be at the Obuasi Lenkle Sports Stadium, where it is the semi-final of the MTN FA Cup and ahead of the crucial game between Accra Hearts of Oak and WA All Stars. Head coach of Accra Hearts of Oak, Fran Natal, is confident of progressing to the finals of this year's MTN FA Cup. The Phobians will take on Ghana Premier League champions WA All Stars in the semi-final encounter at the Obuasi Lenkle Stadium on Sunday.
The Ghana Premier League sides are meeting for the first time in the semi-final stage of the competition at the Obuasi Lenkle Sports Stadium this weekend in what should be a feisty encounter. Hearts of Oak edged out second-tier side Danbot FC in the quarter-final stage in Accra, whilst WA All-Stars overcame Brekum Chelsea to progress to this stage. The Phobians, who had their players dazzle many at the Wafu Cup of Nations, will have all the feel-good factor going into this one. Head coach of the side, Frank Nuttall, is confident his team is well prepared to face the WA Giants in the competition.
Our fans can expect the same as usual. A group of players that will be very focused and very motivated to try to win the game. So nothing changes. Whilst our 5 players have been away with the local Black Stars, the rest of the players have been working very well and very hard. So we'll all be ready for the game on Sunday.
Hearts of Oak are bent on winning this year's FA Cup, and captain Thomas Abe, who tops the Ghanaian scoring chart, insists the team is poised to book a place in the final of the competition.
I think the way we perform in the Wafu tournament, our supporters will expect more for us. So we are ready for that on Sunday. We'll meet them on the league and we'll score them. So semi-finals game is always different from the league. So the mentality of the players now has changed towards that game. So by all means, we will score them.
Hearts of Oak are keen on breaking their FA Cup trophy dark of 17 years, but have stiff opposition from a WA All-Star side, vowing to atone for their dismal league title defense campaign with the FA Cup trophy. All semi-final clashes will be honored on the same day, dubbed Super Sunday, come October 1st, 2017.
So a confirmation for you for the Super Sunday games in the MTN FA Cup. There is WA All-Stars who will take on Accra Hearts of Oak, and Kumasi Asante Kotoko will be up against Midiama SC. But in England, the English Premier League is underway, and let's bring you the fixtures for the game that are happening. Huddersfield are taking on Tottenham Hotspurs in that particular game. Bournemouth will be up against Leicester City. Man United are taking on Crystal Palace. Stoke City up against Southampton. West Bromwich Albion will take on Watford. So those are some of the games to expect. There are other more games to expect in the English Premier League for matches later today. And the next batch of fixtures for you is West Ham United taking on Swansea City, and that is where the Ayew brothers will be in action. Dede Ayew for West Ham United and Jordan Ayew for Swansea City. Chelsea will be up against Manchester City, and that is the last game for today, and everybody will be looking at that particular one too as well. And then again, there is Everton versus Burnley. Arsenal will be up against Albion in there, and then Newcastle United will take on Liverpool. Tomorrow news in the English Premier League. England midfielder Dele Alli has been banned for one international match following his middle finger gesture during the World Cup qualifying game against Slovakia. The Tottenham player was also fined 5,000 Swiss francs by FIFA, who says the incident on September 4 was offensive and unsporting. Ali will miss Thursday's World Cup qualifier at home to Slovenia. The 21-year-old will be available for the game against Lithuania on Sunday. That's all the sports here on Midday Live. My name is Anako Jaffe. Thanks very much for watching. Wendy, over to you for the latest international news.
Thank you very much indeed, Kojoffrey. And in entertainment this afternoon, contemporary music group Reggie and Boli recommends a lot of work to put Ghana music on the global music scene. The duo joined forces in 2012 after embarking on solo projects in Ghana before settling in the UK.
London-based Ghanaian music group Reggie and Bowley say Ghanaian music has only been accepted by the Ghanaian community in the UK. Having lived in the UK for over 10 years, the duo said performing to the Ghanaian community all the time is not a reflection of the entire country's acceptance. They stressed it would take continuous effort and dedication to penetrate the UK music scene.
Our industry needs to be well structured, do you know what I mean, so that the songs can be well distributed all over so other people can listen to our songs.
Don't just look at the music but do all the underground work. You know, when we were back here, so we also release music same way. Make sure your music is accessible on all platforms so people can reach you.
On their role as tourism ambassadors for Ghana in the diaspora, they said they are ready to fly the flag of Ghana even higher. They hinted their management is gearing up on projects to reflect their ambassadorial role and lauded the sector ministry.
I believe Ghana should be able to attract a lot more tourists from other countries and in the African sub-region. In a few years' time, Ghana, if not at all, can be at a level where Jamaica's tourism level.
Men on Point, as they were formerly called, said their lives after coming second in the 2015 edition of Britain's singing reality TV show X Factor has opened more doors for them as musicians. They dismissed rumors making rounds that there is bad blood between their wives.
And that'll be all for this afternoon. Thank you so much for watching Midday Live. My name is Wendy Lai. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Good afternoon.